Sammy, you're the last guy to do it. Take him to a Super Bowl. Is there a cloud hanging over Cincinnati? Is there something magical to getting a playoff win?
I didn't put a hex on anybody. I promise I didn't. It's hard to win. And when you get to the playoffs, it's harder to win because you're playing the best teams. And the magic part of it is be healthy, be peaking at the right time, and you got to have there's always an element of good fortune. Paul Brown always told me, never say the word luck. It's good fortune. You got to make something out of the luck you get and make it a good fortune. But when you get a chance to, at a crucial down, you got to convert. It comes down to that. And if you don't do it, you end up losing close games to good teams.
So it comes down to a quarterback. Is Andy Dalton the guy that can lead this team from what you've seen?
I personally think he can. I think this guy, I tell you who reminds me. He reminds me of Drew Brees. As soon as you trade him, he's gonna blossom. Don't do it just yet, but he's got a tight release. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns. He did a lot of good things in this season. Now, when you get to the playoffs, you've got to do those good things one more time. And sometimes it takes a couple of rounds at turns at bat before you do it.
New coordinators on both sides of the football. Good or bad thing for a team that's been to the playoffs the last 3 years?
It's never good to lose two coordinators at one time. I mean, you lose the guy at the top, you lose the guy who always calls the meetings, the guy that makes the changes and says the final tie-breaking vote in the argument room, what we call a meeting room for football players. So it's tougher. But Marvin is a top head coach. He's one of the best around. I really believe that. He's gotten a lot out of this football team. And you got the personnel now around that this team could win for a number of years.
Is there some intangible, or is there some guy that gets in a quarterback's ear that changes who he is? For, in this instance, Andy Dalton. Could it be somebody that leads him to become something that maybe we haven't seen from him?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what the two options you just gave me, some guy or some intangible, could be either one of those things. The intangible is sometimes a player performs at this level and then something clicks. He does something in a ball game and he does it full speed instead of measuring his throw, for example, and from then on, oh, that's how you do it. You teach yourself, you coach yourself as a player. And then, of course, the guidance is you better have a guy that you are compatible with coaching you, a guy that you trust, a guy that you're loyal to. So the Paul Brownism slipped in there. But if you've got a guy that you believe in and you try the things. I remember in Buffalo, I went back and coached a couple of years in Buffalo in 2004 and 5, and Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. And during one practice, I said, Drew, think about reaching when you throw, when you warm up. Reach out there and get those muscles longer where they haven't been all morning. I said, I'd never heard anybody say that before. I said, I never said it before either. It just came to me. But that's the kind of things that happen when you've got two guys that work together.
Coordinator-wise, we look at this team as winning on defense, 10 of 11 starters back. Can the players win in spite of who's coaching? And I don't know whether that question makes sense to you as all you've seen.
Well, I wouldn't put it in spite of who's coaching. Can they win with different coaching techniques and different coaching approaches? The players play the game, and the God-given skills that they have and the way they're put together make the difference in the game. You know, it's not the team that has the one great pass rusher. It's the team that has the best combination of players where you don't know where they're coming from next that wins. And when I watch Cincinnati, I think the defensive part of this ball club is pretty sound. I think they're as good as anybody that you play against. And offensively, you've got great receivers, you got a solid line, you got a quarterback who I personally think is apparently, not everybody agrees with me the way you're looking at me, but I personally think he's coming. I mean, it happens. It doesn't always happen when we want it on our timetable.
Yeah. Give me your pick. Super Bowl, Denver, Seattle.
24-15, odd number, 24-15.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You haven't given me a winner.
Oh, 24 is going to win for sure. Yeah, that's no question about that. I thought you knew that. You're a sports guy.
Come on, who's going to win the game?
I'll tell you what. I personally, I'm making a choice in my heart. I think Denver is going to win this ball game, but I'm kind of pulling for Peyton Manning to really come in there and just have a lights out day and win that ball game for him. And if he does, you know, he's got his choices then to make. But he says he wants to come back and play some more. That'd be great. I think he's a blessing to the league.